It is currently January 17th and I just decided to embark on a year-long journey to crochet a blanket for my Nana. Hi, Nana. Now, if you're not in the crochet or crafting community, you may not know what a temperature blanket is, but basically the idea is you make a blanket. Some people also do scarves, but the most common version of this is a blanket, and you have a set of colors that you associate to certain temperatures, and then each day you track the temperature, and whatever color that falls in, you crochet a row in that color. Essentially meaning at the end of the year, you're going to have a blanket with a bunch of colors in it, and each row represents a temperature for that given day. So you may be wondering, why am I making one? Because if you have to crochet a row for every day, it takes a long time, but I have a very good reason. For the past few years, my Nana has been making temperature blankets for different people in our family, and at the beginning of this year, I randomly thought, what if I made one for her? And then I just came to the process of making it. But first I had to put everything together because I didn't just want this to be a temperature blanket. First of all, my Nana loves her family, which I'm sure is no surprise. I knew going into this, if I just made her a temperature blanket, heck, if I just made her a single crochet row, she would love it, okay? I know that. But I wanted to put a bit more meaning behind it. So I decided to make up a little color palette. And then I sent it to all of my cousins and their kids. And I said, hey, everyone, pick a color. Yeah, here's our new color palette. That looks so good. Like, that was the old one. But yeah, that's cute too. Like, it places a lot more emphasis on like the blues and the greens and the cooler colors. But in a temperature blanket, usually you only have like one place that you pick and you do the temperature for that throughout the year. But I thought it'd be pretty fun and pretty easy to switch where I'm grabbing my temperature from each month. Now, in a normal year, there's a range of temperatures. In the northern hemisphere, it's colder at the beginning of the month, then it'll get hotter, then it'll get colder again. So you can have a natural spread. So a little subtle foreshadowing is that when assigning these places to each month, I thought about the meanings of the month. I was like, oh, this person has this birthday in this month, so I'll let where they live be the place for that month. Not having the foresight to be, oh, what temperatures are going to show up. But we'll get more into that. It's been a few weeks of picking colors, getting new yarn because I changed the colors, losing my crochet hook, and then buying a new crochet hook. But we were finally able to start this blanket. And I'm so excited. Starting with our green as our first row, which I honestly think the first row is going to be the hardest because I have to pay the most attention and count to 265 because that's how many rows across I am doing. I can't believe that this is going to become a blanket. Okay, it is like curling a bit. I've never really done crochet projects that are this long. And so I don't know if that's normal or not. This is gonna sound stupid, but this is how I do every project. Instead of like looking it up or figuring it out or like seeing if I should, redo it or if I'm doing something wrong, I'm just gonna work through it and just hope that it turns out okay. Because I feel like it's fine. We are back for the second day of working on this blanket, and today we have a new color. Not right away. Our next stripe is this dark green still. But we have a lighter green coming, I think after this one. It's been really hard as I'm working on this to not tell her about it because I'm keeping it a secret from her. But I want to talk to my Nana. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, and I'm working on this project, or oh my god, yeah, there's this thing, or like, the temperature was really low, so I'm like, get to use a new color later down the line when we reach the day that it wasn't today. I want to tell her about it, but I can't because it's a project for her. But I tell her about all my projects. But I can't do that with this one. So Nana, if you're watching this, know it was really hard not to tell you about this. I'm really liking how it's looking so far. I know it's a lot of blues and greens right now, but that's because all of my cooler colors are blues and greens. So I don't know, I'm curious to see like how it changes throughout the year, how long it is just blue and greens. Because I mean, these are like the 50s up until the 70s. Is all blue and green. So that means there's gonna be, maybe I should have switched out a bit. Maybe I should have thought about how often like the 50s, 60s, and 70s are gonna be coming up. But I didn't. Today, quite a few updates. I ordered more yarn for the first time. So far I've been working on just my initial like shipment of all the colors, which I know people say like, oh, you should always order how much yarn you need for the project. before you start it, because like the you know, lot colors are going to be different. I didn't do that because I didn't know how much I would need, okay, and I didn't want to over order, so I am risking it and ordering it as I need, and I'm just hoping. For how I'm going about this in the crochet side of things, I decided to do a single crochet across the blanket because, okay, so I called my nana at the beginning of the year because I wanted to see how she does these blankets so I could like understand it more, because I don't like to look things up, but I was like, I might as well just get her insight of like, where does she break up the temperatures, how many colors is, you know, yada yada. I ended up adding an extra category because I wanted there to be 9 colors so we could have like more of a full rainbow, and so I ended up doing a 97 plus where she just does 87 plus, but so I diverged a bit there. But I was talking to her and I was like, yeah, so like, how do you make it? And she's like, oh yeah, I do a single crochet, some people will do a double crochet, but you know, that's a lot more work. And I was like, cool, I'll do a single crochet. Then at the end of the year, I was like, oh, let me look at her blanket that she made for my mom to compare them a bit, right? To make sure mine is like good enough. And then I'm looking at this blanket and I go, huh, she did a double crochet. So I don't know what the standard is. I did a single crochet just straight across. I've seen people do like chevron patterns. I didn't do any of that. I used this loops and threads yarn from Michael since it had all of the colors I needed. And I used a size I crochet hook. I had a spreadsheet where I was tracking everything. Since I started way behind, I wanted to have an easy way to make sure I knew what temperature I needed and what rows I've already done, and just like a clean, organized place to have all of my thoughts in throughout the year. So in my spreadsheet, I had the first row as the dates. The second row was just like kind of a blank one with a marker of where each month was going to be. The third column, I did conditional formatting, where it automatically put what color I needed to do based on the temperature, which I highly recommend. This is not technical at all. Like, if you don't have to have any technical skills to be able to do this. Basically, all you have to do, I do this in Google Sheets, but I'm sure there's a similar thing in Excel. But in Google Sheets, at this top bar, you go to Format. And under Formatting, hit Conditional Formatting. Here you can see my conditional formatting I set up, but you can add another roll and do either is greater than or equal to for the really hot temperature, less than or equal to for the really low temperature, but for most of them, you're gonna do is between. You'll put the bottom value as the lowest temperature and the top value as the highest temperature. And then in this formatting styles here, you're going to click this little fill color. If I put in 32 degrees and hit enter, it is automatically going to fill in that I used the light green for 32 degrees. So throughout the year, I didn't have to check back and be like, oh, what color is this? It was automatically in. The spreadsheet did it for me. So highly recommend that. And then next to that, I just had a little column for me to click off whether I had done that row already to track where I was. And then next to that, I ended up putting how long it took me to do the rows. And then off to the side, I just had what each temperature range was, what colors those were, who picked them for my blanket, and then also the yarn style that color is. Just so everything was in one place, I didn't forget anything. But honestly, the main thing I can recommend from that is the conditional formatting. It was so nice to just not have to think about it and to just be able to go down and see what colors I needed. Oh my god, guys, I was just about to log off for the night. I was just like clicking my final rows. I was about to be done, stretch my hands. And then I realized we're in March. We have 2 full months done. I didn't even realize, but tonight I finished off February. Ignore from this lighter green, those rows. This bit is the first 2 months. It's been a week since I've worked on the blanket, and that's because I've moved. But the blanket survived its move. We are back with more crochet, and there are 2 exciting things about today. One, we get to add a new color. We get to add in the lavender color. This one right here. And 2, I think today is going to be the first day that I do today, that I crochet today. I also think I'm speeding up. I think I'm getting to like a pace of like 15 minutes per row instead of 20 minutes per row. I'm excited for some of the warmer colors that aren't purple to come up, because purple is overtaking it in a way that I was not prepared for. Okay, so I have been working on the blanket a lot off camera. I honestly do not remember the last time I filmed myself working on it, just because it's been so much easier to just sit down and do it and not worry about filming it all, and I figured I already have enough footage already. I'm getting a lot of purple and blue, as you can see, and I'm currently on about halfway through June. which is super exciting. It's getting long. It's about to be really hot here next week, so working on it is not going to be the most fun. The good news is, today I'm about to do a new color. Originally, I had the next color being this pink. I was going to go purple and then pink, but this pink is very, very similar to the purple. I mean, I guess they are pretty different, but I feel like on the blanket they're going to show up very similar to each other, and so I decided to change it to where the next color I'm going to be using is the orange, which probably isn't good since a lot of people did pick the pink and only one person picked the orange. But I think this week still we are going to get to use the pink because we're about to have like a huge heat wave, and to be honest, I don't think that the people who picked the colors really care about it that much, and if they do, they can spend however many hours I'm about to spend making this blanket, making a new one. If I was complaining about it being too dark, it doesn't make sense that I then switched this instead of doing the lighter pink. Do I switch it back? We're gonna flip a coin. Let me get a better coin than that. Right here. Okay, we have a coin. Heads is going to be for the orange. Tails is going to be for the pink. Okay. So now it's not my choice anymore. Okay. Let me try and catch it. I'm so bad at flipping coins. Okay. I told you. Okay. It's tails. That's the pink. Okay. I think I'm fine with that. Am I? On me? Okay. Orange. That'd be a standout color. It'd be a standout color. Versus. No, I think we stick to the pink. I do actually. Yeah, I'll do that. We'll stick to the pink. Listen, we are not going to acknowledge the flags, okay? Because they fell down and I don't have the energy to put them up. But what I do have the energy for is adding in the last color to the blanket. So let's just say it's been very hot. And kind of ironic that I'm adding in orange when I literally just finished listening to the new Heist podcast with Taylor's debut, talking about the life of a showgirl. I'm not okay, but I still need to crochet. So let's do this. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks so good. I'm so mad that I'm not gonna use it more. And it's fine. It's been a while since I've made a video on the blanket updates. We're currently in the end of October. What it looks like. I think I calculated, I think it's gonna be like 6 feet long at the end of it, which doesn't actually seem that long. It's so much purple. It's so much purple. I don't know. I'm starting to get nervous about weaving in the ends as well, because like that seems like a process. Like I haven't really ever done a project this big. Like a lot of my projects are on much smaller scales. So something this big, I'm a bit nervous for how long that's gonna take, especially since I'm giving it to someone like on Christmas. So it's like I don't even have for the full end of the year. Like I have to get it done before the year is even up, including all of the rows and weaving in the ends and doing the border and everything. But now let's get into some of the hardships that were in this blanket. Now, for starters, most of these problems arise from the fact that I don't like following directions. And not only do I not like following directions, I don't like looking up directions. So at the beginning of this year, I just had that call with my Nana to ask her questions, and that was it. Everything else was my own thinking. I am a very beginner crocheter. I don't even know if what I'm doing is a single crochet. I'm like 99% sure, but if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be surprised. And for most projects, it's fine because I either mess up and it's just like for me and I can easily fix it, or it just doesn't go to plan and I redo it. I like the trial and error. I like finding things out on my own. I like making my own path. And for this blanket, it mostly went fine doing it that way. Except for two things. And I thought I would give updates on the advice I would give in case you're working on this. Because I have a few, especially as I start to use this color again. My main advice would be, that I've been thinking about lately, is think about your colors more. Think about your color placements more. Because when I was doing it, I just did gradient down. Temperature doesn't work like that. It's not gonna be an even spread between each of the colors. It's not gonna go from one color into only the ones that it's directly next to. So it has to look good with the few that it's around. And also, like, just be aware that like your spread isn't gonna be even, because I really think, looking back on it, I wish I had put this light blue next to the purple. Like, I wish that I had switched the light blue and the dark blue. I guess maybe I would have just like not even thought about how the colors are gonna look directly next to them, and I might have just like picked out the colors I wanted. I know I had to do it differently because I wasn't picking out colors for myself, or I wasn't asking someone to pick out the colors for it. Like, I was picking out the colors for someone else, and I wanted there to be a wide range for people to be able to pick their favorites from. So I know that I had like different circumstances than you might going into it, but I feel like if you were just making this for yourself, or if you were making it for a singular person, I would say, okay, what colors do you like? What 8 or 9 yarn colors do you want? And then just like rank them in order of favorites, and then put the favorites into the temperatures that are going to get used most, which will depend on where you're located. In the end, I do not hate the colors and the distribution of it in this blanket. At the beginning of the year, I think there was a clip of me saying like, oh my god, these blues and greens are going to be the most common ones because it's like 50s and 70s. And that's where it goes back to me not thinking about what temperatures will actually be in the places that I am in, because those earlier months that I had were 2 warmer places. So we didn't really use those 2 colder colors until the end of the year, because those places just didn't get that cold. And then we immediately shot up to kind of like mid-range temperature places. I didn't think about either the color distribution and the place. And the other thing is the border. I hate how I did the border so much. I do not recommend it at all. So what I did is I kept all my ends cut like I tied them, I weaved them in, and then left a little bit that I was hoping to incorporate into the border, just as I was crocheting, incorporate that in. But what happened is there's a lot of these stray things. It doesn't look even because everything is just like bumpy, and then also just like the lines themselves. Like over here, it's just like it's not a straight line. There's lots of bumps and everything in it. So if I was ever doing this again, I would never do the border like this again. I literally spent so much time doing it yesterday because I just kept trying to redo it because I think it looks so bad. Like, I hate little pockets of color. You can see this side I think looks better a little bit, but like it still just isn't good. I'm literally giving this to her today. It's Christmas fucking Eve. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to push in all these ends so there's no extra fuzzies, so there's no like these spots where there's like pockets of color. I'm gonna try and like cover that up and fix that. Border looks so nice over here where it was just a straight line where I didn't have to deal with all this shit. Yeah, so this is the one thing where it's like, as I was doing, I was like, I should look up how to do this, but I was like, we're too late. I'm already doing it. I'm already doing it like this. All the ends are already planned for it. I don't even think the way I weaved in the ends was bad. I don't think that doing it at the end like that was fine. I think trying to incorporate the little stubs into the final border, it just felt stiff. It felt bulky. If you lay the blanket out flat, the ends are fucking waves. It messed up the tension of it, I think would be the technical term. Like I said, I know fucking nothing. My Nana said she analyzed it and she doesn't think there's anything wrong with the border, which I know she's just being nice, and I know she would say literally no matter what. So I'm not saying I hate the blanket or that the border ruins it, because I really only think it's when you lay it out as a full that you're like, you can kind of see it. But if it's just folded up, if it's just on someone's lap, if you're just like draped over a couch. You're not going to notice that as much. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's not perfect. The color distribution is just like personal taste, but the border is like, that's just like actually not as quality as I would have liked it to be. Also, one thing that I kind of forgot was at the beginning of the year, I had a lot of hand pain when crocheting. I mean, especially at the beginning of the year, I was doing like 3-hour days, like 2 to 3 times a week. So it's understandable. And I also just like wasn't used to crocheting before that. So I just recommend if you are going to do some regular hand stretches, do. But now for the things that I loved about this project. I mean, the first is that it was just kind of easier than I thought. Yes, like, it's a long that's kind of it. Like I don't know. It's the same stitch even if you're doing a pattern, like it's most likely going to be just the same pattern through the whole blanket. So it's like once you get into a rhythm of it, you're fine. Like I was expecting more trouble, but I think that most of the trouble just came from my own personal criticisms of my artistic work as opposed to like actual like challenges, you know? It was like very fun to be able to track the days and, you know, send updates to my family and be like, hey, this is where I am, and to organize it all and to like see days like my birthday represented in it and just like to know that this is like a full year. It was thinking about the time at the end was a big mindfuck. We have come so far on the blanket and we are so close. But it's so big. But honestly, oh my god. I mean, just, yeah. It's just, there's so much blanket. I'm making this such a problem for myself because, like, I'm giving it out before the end of the year. I'm giving it out on Christmas Eve. So that's my deadline. So it's like, I need to have this all finished before the year's even over. Because I also have to travel with this. I have to go on a flight to where my family lives because I live out of state. And I don't have a car. So I have to fly with this and all the colors that I need. So that's fun. And I think it's gonna be my direct carry-on. So I'm taking precious care of this baby. I'm not letting this go out of my... I'm excited. A year. I can't believe it's been a year. Oh my god. But after a year, the blanket was done. And it is done. Here is... Look at it. I can't even get it all in frame. Nope, still not. Now to wrap this video up, I'm just going to go through a few final statistics. So one of the ones that I was curious about was how much yarn this would use, because I ordered the yarn as I needed it because I didn't know how much of each color I would need. I didn't know how much to expect to need. And I feel like it took me less yarn than I would have thought. Now, I did recently go through my email and delete everything, so I do not have the full statistics and breakdown of how much it cost me and how much I ordered. Also, wait, warning, if you're my nana, stop watching right now, okay? We're about to get into how much it costs and how much time it took me. It was a gift to you. You don't have to worry about these things. These are just fun little calculations, okay? Also, my parents paid for it. Don't try and pay me back, okay? It was a gift. Don't stop. With that being said, my estimate based on the receipts I do have, just knowing how much I used, I think I used about 25 to 30 skeins. Now, obviously, that is not in full. I have a lot of yarn left over, like for that light yellow and for the orange, where I only did a few rows of them each. Like, I have basically full skeins, but I needed it still. And also, a lot of times, the yarn was on sale. Like, I think 90% of the time I bought it, it was on sale. So the original list price is $3.99. Most of the time I got it for like $2.99. But even so, at original list price, with that 25 to 30 skeins, that would have only been about $100, which is honestly not bad. Like, for a project this big and just like, I don't know, I guess I would have thought it would have been more, and maybe it was, maybe I'm completely underestimating how much I used, and I'm just like forgetting about a big order I placed. But I think for the most part, like, I would say around $100 is a pretty good estimate. But now, for the time calculation. Now I have the hours and the minutes separated here. So I'm going to add them together on camera. It took me 80 hours plus 1,782 minutes, which is a total of 6,582 minutes. And if we put that back into hours, that is 109 hours. 109.7 hours. So basically 110 hours. That's kind of not bad. Like, that's what? That's only 4.5 days straight. Wait. If it's 6,600 minutes and there's 365 rows, yeah, that would be an average of 18 minutes. Kind of funny that both time and the price are about the same. I mean, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours. It was like 1 to 2 hours every week of the year. I mean, yeah, that's 110 hours, 52 weeks a year. And I guess to summarize this, I had a wonderful time making this. I'm very glad I did it because, like I said, I truly love projects like this. I am so happy. Loved her reaction, and I made like a little card that like showed what each color temperature was and all the places we went and all like the fun facts about it. And that was really fun. Despite how much purple there was, I think the most surprising fun fact was that the longest streak was actually pink. I think there were like 11 days in a row of pink. Very shocking, I know. But the most used one was the purple. That was used like over 80 times. Which is wild that almost a third of that blanket is purple. Crazy. More like a fourth. But yeah, I guess the main thing that I could say is I'm making another one this year, so that'll show you how much I liked it. And I'm definitely using some of the things I learned. I made sure the colors would look good with the ones next to it and that. But this one also has a very different color palette for a different person. So let me know if you have any questions on the process. Have you tried to crochet a temperature blanket? Have you given up making a temperature blanket? Do you think the temperature blankets are stupid? As I've learned many crocheters do, which is unfortunate because I love them now. I want to make one every year. Who wants a temperature blanket? Because I'm going to keep making them. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.